Hi, my name's Jack Anthony, and I like to talk about myself on the internet. I'm trying to bring back that intro. Is that a thing? Is it? No. Today I want to talk about how I arranged my top surgery in Queensland, Australia, because there aren't a ton of resources for here. I had to do a bit of searching around on the internet and talking to people IRL in order to find out this information. So if you found this video wondering how to arrange your own top surgery, I hope it's helpful for you. Okay. So I attend a clinic in Tenerife called Clinic 30, which is a general LGBT type of clinic that not only deals with transition stuff, but also sexual health and general guidance. And the way I found out about the surgeon that I would go on to pick is just through asking at the clinic. It is a really great place, a really great environment, and if you can attend, I 100% recommend. I asked my GP there if she knew how I would go about having top surgery here, and she referred me to some of the guys that work at the clinic, trans guys, and they wholeheartedly recommended a surgeon called Dr. Elise Saylor. And they even went on to talk about the prices with me and show me the results, which I didn't ask for, but was a good visual representation of what I'd hoped to get, so that was fun, I guess. I did not walk into that building expecting to see another man's nipples that day, but I was pleased coming out of it. So after getting a glowing review of this surgeon, I looked her up and found what clinic she works at. I just mustered up the courage and booked my first consultation. Now bear with me here. The first consultation was something around $300, which is insane, but down the road, worth it. So in the initial consultation, we basically talked about what the surgery would entail, what type of surgery I would be getting, the effects, the possible risks, the things that you would expect. She also did just briefly ask me to take off my top, including my binder, just so she could get a feel for the feel was the wrong word to use there. Just so she could get an idea of the canvas that she would be working with. But it was very painless, very quick. I literally just took off my top. She was like, got it. And that was it, 5 seconds max. And from that brief look, she told me that I would be getting keyhole surgery, which, relief, because that's what I was hoping for. Minimal scarring. And while we were talking about the surgery, I'm furiously taking notes on my phone because I don't think I'm going to remember all this. She stops me. I realize I'm actually being quite rude by doing this, and she tells me that there's no need to do that because she'll be giving me a folder of all the information I need to know, quotes about the surgery, different information on what it's like to have it at a hospital or whether in the clinic that we were currently in. Tons of information, so don't worry about taking notes or anything. So at the end of that consultation, I was told that I would need a letter from a psychiatrist before I booked my next appointment with her, because you do need to have at least 2 consultations with your surgeon prior to having the surgery. I was given a list of psychiatrists that are in the general area, or at least in town. And honestly, I did just pick the one closest to me. I didn't really look up reviews on them, which probably would have been the smart thing to do, but I just wanted to get that letter, to be honest. Anyway, so next I book an appointment with a psychiatrist. I believe that initial appointment was around $200-ish to $300-ish as well. I've thrown away the invoices because they make me sad to look at. But it was around there, and from each of these appointments that I've mentioned, you do get a significant rebate, but it still ends up being around $150-ish, $200-ish out of pocket. But back to the actual appointment. At the psychiatrist appointment, it was kind of weird. I've never seen a psychiatrist, and she essentially asked me my entire life story, asked me about things that I didn't think were relevant at all, but I wanted that letter, so I was ready to tell her whatever she needed, and I would advise that you do too, honestly. In the end, I ended up needing a second consultation, which sucked. I'm not saying that you'll need a second consultation for sure too, because my tragic backstory is fairly complicated, so I guess that's why it took so long. But do be prepared for that reality, just in case. At the end of the first appointment, she asked me if I could get a letter of referral from my psychologist, who I've been seeing for around 3 years or so at that point. This isn't a necessary step, it's not compulsory, but she thought it would just help get to know me better. So if you have somebody like that, or a counselor or something, that might help speed things along as well. Fast forward to the second appointment, it is around the same amount of money. So you add all these appointments up, it's an amount. In the second appointment, she asks me kind of a few recap kind of questions. Throughout these appointments, we do go over basically my entire life story. I'm not exaggerating, like my family life, my friends, my relationships, my mental health, obviously my journey with gender identity, sexuality, etc. Pretty much everything. But by the end of that second appointment, I have my letter. And the day after that, I book my next consultation with the surgeon. At the second consultation, I am able to ask her more about the aftercare for my surgery, the effects, the possible risks. Most of these I was just asking on behalf of my very anxious mother, but there's some odd things to inquire about. So I do just want to reiterate that that second consultation is the perfect time to ask any questions that you might have. Because at that point, your surgeon has in mind the type of surgery that she's going to do, she's assessed you, and there's really not a ton more for her to say on that matter, so go wild asking any questions. I asked her if I would be fit to travel within a month or so. She said I could travel within a week of the surgery as long as it was within the country. I also asked her what the effects would be on my recovering chest if I were to go off testosterone. She said would not affect it at all. She does surgery on pre-T trans guys all the time. You're literally just taking the tissue out, so it's not going to grow back if you have more estrogen in your body. After having a bit of a chat, I went to be measured for my surgical binder, which is an additional $200 that you don't get a rebate for. But it's going to be very important in your recovery, so for that you do just go into a private room and have a person measure your chest. You know how measuring works. Very quick, painless, and you're out of there in a flash. After that, at the front desk, I received an invoice, which is to be paid within 2 weeks before the surgery, and then I booked my appointment. I believe this all went down around mid-October-ish, and I was able to book my top surgery appointment for January 25th, so there is a significant wait in between these times. Speaking of significant waits, I do make this sound like I just kind of hopped from one appointment to the other. In reality, this whole process took about half a year. There were multiple cancellations and rescheduling that I had to navigate, and a lot of phone calls I had to make. So do be prepared for that. It's not an easy process. It's frankly very frustrating, but obviously the end result is so worth it. So that's about it. If you're looking for top surgery in Queensland, I hope that you have a much easier time than I did and everything goes well. I've been looking in the screen. I keep switching between looking at the screen and the camera. I look like a crazy person doing this in front of my window. Bye. Hey, it's me. You know, from the video. I just wanted to explain why the frame and the editing of this video is so all over the place, and that is because I filmed this on my phone and I kept getting phone calls during the video. So, sorry, and deal with it, I guess. Paddington said gay rights.